Hello, welcome back to Budget with Chloe. If you've seen my channel before, you'll know that we're doing something a little bit different today. I do have YNAB open up here because I will show you how August ended for me, but I have been absent for a while, and that was because I went to London. If you watch my previous videos, you'll know I had a trip to London coming up to see Taylor Swift at the Eras Tour. And the week after I got back, I was sick, and so I didn't end up filming a budget with me that week. And so I thought I would put together a little spending breakdown for you guys so that you can see whether YNAB helped me stay under budget for this trip. And I say budget, there wasn't really a budget. I mean, after we bought flights and hotel in June, I would say I set like a soft budget for spending of, was it $1,800 for the 8 days that we were there? I wanted it to be close to $200 a day. So we'll see if I stuck to that. But we'll go to August 1st in YNAB, so I can show you how the month ended. So all of my fixed expenses obviously came out and everything was good there. I stayed on budget for gas. I think I even had a little bit more in there than I needed, so I used that to shuffle some money around at the end of the month. Groceries, I think I went over what I had put in there at the beginning of the month, just with buying probably meat in bulk, things like that. Utilities, same old. Toiletries, I think I had some money left over in there from July. I guess I could just go back and look. Yeah, so I had $13 rollover, and then I assigned some, spent some. Household goods, same thing. Health and wellness, I don't think I put it in, no, not that month. It was in August. I did set aside, I want to say $90, and unfortunately I did end up moving that around to cover some expenses in August because I knew that I didn't need this money until my dentist appointment, which was in September. So I did end up taking that out. Dining out, I believe there was only one more expense after our trip, because I know 100 of that was from the beginning of the month when me and my partner went out to dinner. Entertainment, I think I went to see a movie. Work activities, that was money for a gift fund. And you might notice if you watch my videos, I did shuffle around some of my categories a little bit. I got rid of the car category and just moved those different, what am I thinking, my category groups. I changed up my category groups. I took some categories and reshuffled them. I just didn't like, and I still don't like, the way that my YNAB is looking right now. I feel like there's way too many categories, but I mean, I spend out of all those categories, so I don't know. Yeah, I changed this one to debt, even though by the end of the year, I'm only going to have one of these left. I'm not a fan of, not of the program. I'm not a fan of my personal YNAB right now, but I mean, that's just maybe an aesthetics thing. I need to get over it, but I moved all my sinking funds into one category. I don't know if I like it. I don't. A lot of these I'm not even contributing to yet. So, and then I left gifts separate, even though technically those are sinking funds. Travel is still separate. I don't know. Let me know if you relate to not liking the way that it looks. But this, I think, is the first month where I didn't end up stealing from my next month, and I actually had the full 150 that I intended to set aside for the beginning of September's variable expenses. And I actually left it in there, so that's good. Same with my emergency fund. I contributed the amount that I wanted to. So I feel good about that. Where is that UK category? So you'll see that It's $107.14 overspent. And I think I did end up having $1,800 in here when we left. So if I do some not so quick math, I'll just go 2090 minus 1,800. So really, I'm about $300 over budget. And I think I moved, I know I moved some money around. I think my paycheck was a little bit bigger at the end of the month. So I moved some of that in there and then ended up having to leave $107.14 to roll over. I could have pulled from sinking funds, but I know my credit card bill won't be due until the beginning of October. So for now, I just left it overspent for the end of the month. And then this was the leftover amount that my partner owes me because I put everything on my credit card while we were there. And yeah, so you'll see the reason why I went over budget. I actually would it be under budget or maybe slightly over budget if not for one happy little accident, which we'll get into here. But I made this little slideshow, put in some pictures of me in front of some fun little landmarks there. Yeah, but we'll just get started. So, flights and hotel, I booked as a package in June, and it's 7 nights at the hotel that we stayed at. And I booked this through my credit card's travel rewards portal because I did have about $100 worth of points that I could apply to travel. And then it did seem like packaging the flights and hotel together did end up being a little bit cheaper. Of course, the flights were looking to be about $2,000 per person, just because we were booking 2 months out. And, if we had known that my best friend wasn't going to be able to come with me, we would have booked further in advance, but it was what it was. So that there wasn't much wiggle room there. But yeah, I would say the hotel was probably about $1,000 per person of that, and then the flights would be the $2,200 left. I did convert it into USD and British pounds here in case anyone is watching from the US or the UK. And obviously we paid all together, but I've just broken it down per person, so you can double it if you're trying to estimate for a trip for 2 people. And this did include paying for extra leg room on, I guess, technically just the longer flights because we had to have a layover somewhere else in Canada and then fly over to Heathrow. So we purchased a higher priced fare, which included extra legroom on the short flights and then the 2 long flights. And that's about 100 Canadian per person per leg. So that the 200 over 3,000 was the extra legroom seats. And then happy little accident, an intentional upgrade to premium economy, but a lack of understanding about which currency the upgrade was in, because I talked to someone at the counter and they probably very strategically said $2.19 for premium economy upgrade. And I had a couple of drinks at the restaurant, so I wasn't thinking my clearest, and I did not think for a second that we were talking about British pounds, even though we were in Britain. So that did end up being close to $400, but premium economy, I don't know how I can go back. It was glorious. It was lovely. If you've ever flown premium economy, I mean, it's not business, but it's good enough for me. It was pretty great. And as you can see here, I put a little picture of the meal we got in actual ceramic dishware and a glass of wine, an actual glass. And this dessert, it was so good. It was like a caramel tart, maybe? I don't know. It was delicious and worth $400 that I didn't exactly have. I think the 200 would have been okay. No, because I was 400. Was I 300 over? I might have still been a little bit over, but I was coming in pretty close to budget, and then the very last decision I made completely blew the budget. But you only live once, and we all make mistakes. and my mistake is currency related. But it really was worth it, and I definitely don't regret it at all, and will want to upgrade to premium economy every time I fly. But I think it's cheaper if you pay in advance, so maybe just from the get-go I'll just work that into my pricing. But yeah, that was 400 Canadian, and the currency conversion down here. So pre-travel expenses were about $623.55 Canadian. This was just for me. This isn't split with my partner or anything, except for the Eras Tour ticket. He also had a ticket, so that was about half of the pre-travel expenses, $335, because I was able to buy them in the pre-sale, which was amazing and wonderful, and I didn't have to pay $10,000 for a ticket, which is, yeah. And now that she has tour dates in Canada, and I didn't get a code for that, which is pretty crazy how the rollout for the dates went and the tickets and everything. And if you're a fan of Taylor Swift, you know, but yeah, so that was $335, which is pretty amazing. And then I took out £100 in cash that I didn't really end up spending. Then I bought an outfit for the Eras Tour. You can see me in a little sparkly outfit. I was trying to be, I think it was at the MTV Music Awards one year. She performed a medley of songs, but it started with The Man, and she was wearing a white button down with all of her album names on, and then she takes it off, and she's wearing a nice little gold bodysuit. I didn't end up having time to put all the names of the albums on, so I'm not sure if many people understood my outfit, but it was cute, and I was really close in the lower bowl, and it was amazing. This picture got flipped, but that's during maybe Betty, and it was amazing, wonderful, loved it, wouldn't trade it for the world. I also bought a disposable camera to take some pictures, a power bank, which was only $15 but ended up being amazing. It was really thin and charged the phone pretty fast, and it held, I think, 6 charges worth of juice. So it was really great. And then I paid about $40 for an eSIM for my phone so that I would have data while I was in the UK, which worked fairly well. I don't remember having any issues. And I think the company I used for that was Maya, M-A-Y-A. And I think I've used them before, and they're pretty good. So definitely recommend. And transportation, this was pretty good. I think for 8 days it comes out to about $30 a day, so $237.79 Canadian in total. And this included the tube to and from Heathrow, which we took the fast one. It's either the Jubilee or the Elizabeth line. I can't remember which one. And it's a bit faster, and so that was nice. It was air conditioned. So when we got here from our overnight flight, it was kind of nice to get to the hotel fairly quick. And I know that one's a bit pricier than just the regular underground. This also includes all of our trips on the underground, which is how we got around London for the duration of our stay. We took a ride on the Uber boat, which was pretty fun. And then it also includes a train to and from my hometown, which is about 45 minutes away from Paddington Station in London. So it was a Great Western Railway train, which was super fast and has little chargers and stuff. So I think that was a really good deal for all of our transportation for the whole trip. So I'm pretty happy with that. In the underground, you can just tap your card on and off, so it's fairly easy. The train tickets I bought on my phone on the Trainline app. Yeah, the Uber boat was also tap on, tap off. So I was quite impressed with that. That's me on the train. And that is one of the underground stations that I think is Baker Street. Yeah. And it was really old school looking. So took a picture of that. All right, food and drink. That came to $903.91 Canadian, and I just listed some of the more expensive outings that we had that contributed to that. Wembley concession, we had a few drinks, and we had, of course, because we had to get there around 4 p.m., I think, maybe 3:34. So then the concert starts before dinner time, or kind of around dinner time. So we ended up getting, I think, hot dogs and some chicken strips, and then a few drinks each. And so that was fairly expensive. Classic arena pricing. And then the Hard Rock Cafe was pretty expensive. I think we spent maybe over $100 per person. And we did buy the fun commemorative glasses. I got the nice cocktail glass that says Piccadilly Circus, and my partner got the pint glass, I think it is, and that contributed to the price. We also had like the world's largest dessert. You can't really tell in this picture, but it was the size of my partner's head. It was massive, and we'd already had all of our food, so we didn't even end up finishing it. It was really delicious, though. So that was some of the more memorable meals that we had. And then other than that, I found that breakfast was, I don't want to say fairly pricey, because we were going to sit down cafes. I guess you can get takeout, so it's not really sit down. But I have noticed that in the UK, because I like to drink a mocha. Unless I'm at home, I'll have regular coffee. But when I go out, I like to have mocha. And they are quite expensive. Like, they come out to like $7 or $8 Canadian, which, like, here, I think Starbucks maybe is at $7 now for their drinks. But to me, that's pretty pricey. Tim Hortons, I think, I mean, if you call that a mocha, but the Tim Hortons mocha, I think, is like $3. So that kind of felt like a lot. The breakfasts, though, are pretty good portions. Like, I wouldn't say that they were crazy expensive for how much food you were getting, but we did eat breakfast every day. We'd usually get a snack around lunchtime. I don't think we were really having full lunches. And then we would usually have dinner and drinks, beers and cocktails, that kind of thing. So the food probably could have been less. We could have, if we were hardcore budgeting for this trip, we could have definitely gotten it down, but I'm happy with what we ended up having and the amount we spent. So that wasn't too bad. Activities, we spent $297.25 Canadian per person, and this included the London Dungeons, which I really enjoy doing, the London Zoo, the Churchill War Museum, Lift 109, which the reason we were at Battersea Power Station was because my partner loves, oh, now I'm going to forget. Is it Pink Floyd's album, Animals? And the cover is a pig flying over the Battersea Power Station. So he really wanted to see that just to enjoy the vibe and get a couple pictures. So we went out there. That's when we took the Uber boat. And we hung around that area for a while, walked around. Then we went back to the power station, which is now they renovated it and turned it into a mall. And so we went back there, we had some supper, and then we went to the other side that we hadn't really gone to, and there's something called Lift 109, and it's basically an attraction where you take a couple of elevators up to the very top, like, so it's a power station with like concrete, like really big chimneys, I don't know what you would call it, and you take an elevator to the top, and then the elevator goes, it's like a glass elevator, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory style, and you go all the way to the top, and suddenly you're 109 meters in the air and looking all around, and it's amazing views. Like, the London Eye, I'm sure, is what everyone thinks of when you think of views in London, but no, this was incredible, and it wasn't as expensive as the London Eye. We also did the London Eye, but I had free admission to that because I used my credit card points. But no, Lift 109 was amazing. If you're looking for views of London, it's a bit further out, so I can't remember if we actually saw, I think we could see the London Eye, but it's further west, so it's not like the best view of kind of the things that are more central, but it was amazing. We got some great pictures of that. I think they're at the end of my slideshow here. And then we also went to Putt Shack, which was a really cool, like, bar, but with mini golf in it. I don't know if that's a thing anywhere else. I haven't seen that here in Canada, I don't think. And the mini golf holes were like really cool. Like one was beer pong, where you're trying to shoot it into giant beer pong cups, and each hole was like a different cool thing. So we had lots of fun there. And that was, I think, most of the activities that we did. And then things, we spent $99.37 each, and this included photos at the London Dungeon. I think they're just printed photos, maybe a keychain as well. I think my partner has those. We need to get those. And then Eras Tour merch, because I spent like $75 on a t-shirt. And that's me and Taylor Swift. If you can see in the heart, that's Taylor Swift. So that's fun. So the total, and here's the photos from the Battersea Power Station. That I think is the west side, and then this is the east side. And the total for 8 days per person came to $5,756.11. So without flights and hotel, we spent, while we were there, but also on some pre-travel things, about $320 per day. Including flights and hotel, we spent about $720 per day. So I think we did pretty good. I stayed quite close to my budget that I had set aside, and then when I went over it a little bit by accident, I figured out how to cover most of it. And I am actually waiting, I don't think I mentioned that, because we upgraded to premium economy, I believe we're entitled to refunds for the $110 that we spent on our extra legroom seats. So that's also kind of why I left the $107, because once I get this refund, that should cover that. So I will flow that back into the UK category and then move it up to my credit card. Of course, I'm not completely banking on that. So if by the end of the month I don't have the money, I'm just going to pull it from somewhere else. But ideally, I get that. And then I mentioned the free London Eye tickets. So that was about $120 worth of credit card points that I had, because it was a better deal to redeem for a travel expense than it was to redeem for something like a gift card. So I took advantage of that for sure. And yeah, September's looking a little funky right now because I've just kind of gone over things that I have budgeted for with my upcoming paycheck, but I just need to get that paycheck next week to fill it out. And yeah, so that was my trip to London. I hope this was enjoyable or maybe even helpful if you're planning a trip to the UK sometime soon. This was definitely not a budget trip. We were, indulging, enjoying. We weren't thinking about money when we were ordering food or drinks or anything like that. So it's definitely not the lowest that it could go. You could definitely get it lower. Booking your plane tickets further in advance would definitely help. But yeah, if you're looking to go from Canada to the UK, this might be what you're looking at. But yeah, I'll be back next week with a budget with me, and I look forward to seeing you guys then. Bye!